Hey guys, it's Brian, and I'm here today with a very special ceiling fan video. This is the newest install in my kitchen over my table. This fan is a 52-inch Hunter 1930s original, and I believe this to be from about 1994. It's a limited production fan. It's extremely rare, and for those of you who know originals, you know how much collectors covet these fans, especially me. This is my favorite 90s fan of all time. And the one that you see here is in the wine color. I actually have one other 1930s themed Hunter original. It's actually a 1996 Hunter Art Deco Medalist original, which is slightly different from the 1930s original, being that it is white. That was the only color that they came in. They were only made for 1 year in 1996. They did not have this style of blade badge. They were slightly different. So at some point I plan to make a video of that in the near future. But for right now, this is what we're focusing on today. This fan is, I want to say, about 90% original, being that it did not come with the mounting bracket for the canopy. It did not come with the rubber grommet. It did not come with a U-bolt, so I have it hanging on a J-hook because I do not plan on reversing it. And my electrical boxes are not wide enough for the U-bolt, and I do not have the ability to modify one at this time. So I used a J-hook, which suits its purpose just fine. It does have a couple of flaws. It's not 100% perfect. You can see that the blade badges have some pitting on the chrome, which is unfortunate, but quite honestly, it's not the worst I've ever seen. I think it's still in halfway decent shape. And lucky me, the glass for the center of the light kit is intact. That is probably the rarest piece of ceiling fan glass you will ever come across, is the centerpiece on one of these 1930s originals. They are impossible to find. And that's actually an understatement, basically saying you will not find them at all. So my plan is to replicate this piece in case something happens to it, so I at least have a backup. Because I actually had a black 1930s original new in the box not too long ago that I sold on eBay, and unfortunately the glass that it had come with had broken at some point during its run with a previous owner. So that was unfortunate, but this one, thank God, has the glass intact. This fan has a 2.5 amp motor. It's very powerful. It spins very fast on medium. It's actually very surprising how fast it is on medium. Very, very powerful. These are cast iron fans. As for those of you who know about Hunter Originals, they use an oil bath lubrication system, basically meaning that in the top part of that switch housing there, close to the rotor for the blades, is where the oil sits. And it gets circulated throughout the bearing by a groove in the motor shaft. And then you put the oil in the top part of the motor there, and it travels down into the switch housing. That's basically where it sits. These fans will last forever as long as you maintain them. They are probably, in my opinion, the best residential fans that you can buy. They're extremely heavy. They weigh about 50 pounds because they're made out of cast iron. So you definitely have to be careful when installing them, and they are kind of a pain. But being that I've installed these for years and years and years, multiple times, I'm used to it by now. So putting this one up was really no big deal. One thing I would like to mention is that the light kit on this fan is an absolute pain in the ass to install. I hated every minute of it, but it was totally worth it. If you ever have the displeasure of putting one of these light kits on this fan, you're going to hate your life. Let's just put it that way. But totally worth it. This fan is not going anywhere. It goes with the Coca-Cola 1950s theme in my kitchen. So I absolutely love it. So anyway, let's go ahead and fire it up. We're going to start it on low. It does have a slight wobble to it, being that one of the blades is out of clock. I do not personally feel comfortable messing with the blades or the blade pitch because I do not want to break anything, considering how rare this fan is. So if anybody wants to volunteer to come and help me balance this fan, I would much appreciate it. It's got a very nice aesthetic low speed. And it is functional. It does move a pretty decent little breeze on low. It's very comfortable. Turn it up to medium. It's moving a very, very strong amount of air. This is definitely a tank of a fan. This is easily the most powerful fan that I've ever had in this kitchen. And what's nice about that is because it's the only fan in this room, where my stove is over there, I don't really get a lot of airflow from the ceiling fan over the table, but this one is easily moving all of the air in the kitchen by itself. And you could definitely feel it over there, so I'm really glad that I put this up because this room gets really hot. So we'll go ahead and turn it up to high. Really only a slight difference between medium and high. Obviously high is more powerful, but I mean, this thing is absolutely cranking out air, as all originals do. Very, very impressive amount of air movement. You can see that the blades are kind of jumping around. It's at least one of the blades is out of clock. So I will have to fix that. But that being said, it still runs perfect. It's got a fresh amount of zoom spout in it, completely filled. It's running great. Shut it down and do a spin down time. I picked this fan up off of Facebook Marketplace from a seller in Shelby, Ohio, which is down by Mansfield. And when I saw this fan, actually a fellow collector sent this listing to me. A couple of them did, actually. And honestly, I was sitting at the kitchen table drinking my coffee for breakfast, and I almost choked on my coffee when I saw how cheap this fan was. I mean, considering that I sold my black 1930s original on eBay for 650 bucks, getting this one for what I got it for was a steal. I practically robbed this lady of this fan. Not literally, but you get the idea. I mean, obviously she had no idea the value of this thing. And I'm really glad that she didn't, because I never thought in my life that I'd own another one of these. But it just so happens I have this one and the white Hunter Medalist original in my storage. And I will be making a video of that fan. But this one is going to be permanently installed here in the kitchen. I do not have plans to take this down, and I know that I've said that before, much to the chagrin of other collectors. But this time I'm serious. This is too perfect for this space. So, anyway, that is my 52-inch Hunter 1930s original ceiling fan. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Keep watching. More videos to come.